be drawing a realistic eye, and if you would like to use a reference, you can use a mirror or just follow along with me. So first I'm gonna start off by drawing an almond shape. The top is usually a little bit more curved and the bottom's a little bit more flat. I connect them with a corner there, and over here a little bit of a rounded edge. This is that pinkish area in your eye. Then for the circle, usually the circle touches about the bottom of here, and so you're going to have it come out from underneath that top lid, round down and touch the bottom here. Sometimes it will go under this part as well. Try and get as nice and round of a circle as you can. Okay? And then I like to save out a highlight. Could be a rectangle, circle, square, whatever you like. You could even put 2 highlights if you wanted to. Just save those out. Then this is the iris, the colored part. We need to add the pupil, and the pupil is that black part in the very center. I like to kind of measure and make sure I'm about the same distance away here as from here as well. Make it nice and circular. And I'm going to go ahead and shade that in. Okay, now that I've shaded this in, I'm going to define this edge here. This is the top edge of the eyelid, and under the eyelid we're gonna add a little shadow all the way across because it's 3-dimensional. Cast a little bit of a shadow, and this also helps to make it look rounded and a little bit more 3-dimensional. I'm gonna take my finger and blend that in, and I'm gonna do the same thing underneath here again to make it look rounded and more 3-dimensional, because an eye is a sphere. It's just only partially viewed because of the eyelids. We're going to blend that, and then I'm going to take my pencil and erase out a little bit of a highlight just to make it look more rounded, and it's the white of the eye. Notice I'm keeping it really light. Alright, now let's work on the iris. This is the colored part of the eye. And obviously we're doing this just in pencil, so it could represent any color eye. In general, the outside of the iris is slightly darker, and the center is going to be what's the lightest. So I'm going to start just lightly shading inside here. And underneath here, remember that this is a shadow, so I'm going to make it a little bit darker underneath the eyelid. And keeping it lighter. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and blend this with my finger. And then I'm going to notice I've been using my eraser a lot as a tool. I'm going to go ahead and erase out a highlight in the center here. It's really going to make that iris pop. And notice as I've erased, it's kind of created a hard white line. I'm actually just going to use my finger to blend that back in. and erase a little bit more out. And then if you look in the mirror, look at anybody else's eyes, you'll notice that there's these little lines that streak through the eyes, the pupils. And if you have really light eyes, you might see a ton of them. If you have darker eyes, you might not be able to see them at all, but they're there. We're gonna go ahead and draw those in. Notice I did them after I blended, just so we don't blend them and lose those lines. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and draw this is that little pinkish red thing in the corner of your eye. I don't know exactly what it's called, but just darkening it in, because remember, this highlight is my whitest white. This is the white of the eye, but it's rounded, so only part of it is actually pure white. And the rest is going to be a lighter shade, but not pure white. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and define the eyelid, which again goes right up to the edge of that iris and curves right over the top here. On the bottom eyelid, usually you can see the actual edge to about here. And here it kind of overlaps, so I'm just gonna gently shade that in. As you can see, I've shaded this edge here a little bit darker. This is about the shape of the whole eyeball. And so what I've done is created that crease, and then I'm blending a darker shadow here that softens up as the eyelid kind of goes into the bridge of the nose there. Also, the corner of the eye here should be a little bit darker, and then it softly blends into the part underneath the eyelid here. Now you'll notice how much I've been using my fingers to blend, and that's because when you look at your eye, there's not a lot of hard lines besides the actual outside outlines of your eyelid and the iris and pupil. Most of your skin around it is actually quite soft, so I'm using my fingers to blend those softer edges in. Now, the final part that we're gonna do is eyelashes, and this is where a lot of people wanna do cartoon eyelashes, these big straight lines. But our eyelashes curve, as we know. They come out, and what I like to do is sort of do a flick, curve, and then flick up. And we do have quite a few eyelashes, but you don't have to draw hundreds of them. You just wanna draw some simple lashes that curve out. And depending on if, you know, the person whose eye it is wearing makeup or not, they might be longer, shorter, but in general they get shorter as they go towards the corner of the eye, and eventually there's no more over here. Now down here, you want to draw them at the edge of the edge of the eye, and they're much shorter over here and a little bit more spread apart because our eyelashes on the bottom are a lot less. Okay, now if you wanted to keep on going and draw the rest of the face, you definitely could. I'm gonna leave it at this, but I just really want to emphasize that when you're doing the eye, you can use your eraser to erase out highlights, and you can go back and add darker shadows, and that's really what's going to make that eye pop. All right. So that's it for our eye tutorial, and I want to give a shout out to Nathan J. and Paisley at Mesquite, whose idea it was to do this eye tutorial. All right, see you next time, guys. Bye.